Scalpel. Thank you. Hope I get this right. I haven't slept in days. Oh no! Oh no!
I heard you can throw the football really well, Commish.
I can throw the football just as well as I like my rubs. Watch this. What? Objection, Your Honor. He's badgering the witness.
Sustained.
All right, so just finish off this next line of billion lines of code, and I'll have those guys betting all their money. There's no way they're gonna win at fantasy anymore. All this, betting. Anyways, I'm gonna call my bro. I gotta see what's happening. Hello? Hey bro, what's poppin'? Dak still making you wet dream? Baby, it's all good, bro. Oh, I got mustard on my favorite shirt. You know what, bro? I don't even know who to set up all this week in my lineup. Well, if you go this linebacker from Washington, they're paying a run-first offense, so that linebacker is guaranteed to get a bunch of volume, and that's how you will win this one. You the best, man. How the hell do you know all this? You see any women around, bro? Good point, my brother. Good point. You know what? Thanks for all you did for this. There's no way I could ever win without you. I know this. Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's Commish back here with another draft preview, and this time we got Chris and No More, a guy that's been in this format for a very long time, did his time in tier 2. There's no doubt about that. And Chris tried to move up every year, so there's no doubt about it. He was buying every year. And Chris, I just want to say your time in tier 1 has not been that successful so far. But of course, you never, get really a solid choice of what you're taking over, right? I mean, depends on how you finish in tier 2. But I think you've set yourself up nicely now to finally have a winning record in this league. And yeah, let's just get into your preview and we'll kind of go through it. So I'll share my screen. And I just want to say, Chris, I really do appreciate your ownership and commitment to this league and this format. I've always appreciated the way you've conducted yourself as an owner. First off, you're active, you trade, you're just committed. Your comment, and I know you appreciate the hard work. So just want to say it is a pleasure having you in the league. Looking at your keepers, so this is the thing. You rebuilt your entire keeper list by just trading away three draft picks, 3 or 4. And obviously you looked at, okay, well, Lucas did really well last year. I think he finished second place. Had a lot of players available outside his keepers. You said, hey, wait a minute, those guys are better than my keepers. And you made the trade. And I think what a trade it was for you. So who did you get out of that trade? Chuba Hubbard, running back, Carolina. As far as I know, he's going to be the main guy again. I know they got Rico Dowdle there. Let's face it, Jonathan Brooks, that guy's a bust. His career is pretty much over. I mean, can't see that guy coming back. So Hubbard, I like Hubbard, of course, because he's Canadian as well. So got to give respect to Canadians that actually make the NFL because there's not many of us that do. And then you also picked up Jacoby Myers, an under the radar WR1 on the Vegas Raiders, and a team that I think will still run the rock a lot more. Pete Carroll can lay his stamp on his team. He doesn't have Russell Wilson being a spoiled baby. He's got Geno, and he knows, hey, Geno, follow the blueprint. We got Janty, we got Mostert. We're going to run the rock. But when they have to throw the ball, and maybe it's a play action, Geno might be finding Jacoby Myers open, right? So I like that. Under the radar WR1, that did improve your keepers. You also got Evan Ingram, who I think is going to have a monster year in Denver. I think Peyton loves tight ends, or there's usually a primary tight end that does really well on his teams. And Evan Ingram could very well be that guy. And it sets up the double dip for you with Bo Nix at quarterback. Let's face it, Bo Nix, a young quarterback, proved himself last year and looked pretty good, to be honest. And that's great news for you because this guy could be a future keeper on what I figure is a legacy team, right? Like Denver's got a pretty big following there. Obviously, you have legacy players like John Elway, and good following there for Denver, right? Denver fans worldwide. So yeah, the Bo Evan double dip might very well work out very well for you. And then I know Tyrone Tracy, there's been a lot of skepticism on, okay, is he actually going to be the RB1? Is he going to be splitting carries with Cam Scatabo? My personal opinion is, yeah, he will still be running a rock. He's still going to have a big role, right? I know he had some fumble issues last year, and that's why people are criticizing him. But I don't think you give up on a guy like that right away. Is Scatabo going to get his touches? Sure. I mean, why wouldn't he, right? That's why they drafted him. But I still think Tracy's going to have a prominent role there. And then IDP, you decided to go with Will McDonald. When I look at the rest of your team, you don't have a lot to choose from, to be honest, in terms of an IDP keeper. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, there's really no one to choose from there. So you might want to potentially really, you could trade for an IDP also for cheap, right? That could be an option for you. Looking at the rest of your roster, there's really not any other keeper you could potentially keep except for Trevor Lawrence, I feel. He could be a guy that you maybe could select over Bo Nix, but Bo Nix obviously is a pretty good option as well. So yeah, I think the keeper is what you did. The trade is really good for you because your pick situation's pretty good too, right? So you made the Burrow trade with me. You used some of that capital. I don't know if you used the same picks or not, but obviously you used the draft capital that you had to upgrade a keeper. Bo Nix is a good enough quarterback, right? Yeah, I think Burrow is better, but Bo Nix is still a good enough quarterback. And when I look at your pick scenario here, you're in a great spot, right? Like in all honesty, you got 12 picks in the first 10. You do have the 20th pick in the draft, so obviously you're going to be waiting in round one to make that selection, but a lot of teams don't even have a round one pick. And your picks were literally all over the map, which is, I always like seeing teams like that because, it tells me that you are active and you're making those trades, right? And let's face it, I mean, some teams missed out on those three keepers. Anyone else could have grabbed those three keepers from Lucas and Green Lightning. You're the one that said, I'm going to go do it. You did. And, in round two, you're picking 30th, so not that long of a wait. Either 10 picks after. You got two in round six, could double dip on either depth offensive players there or linebackers even. And having the two in 9 and 10, I think those will be important picks for whatever reason as well, especially as we head into rounds 11 and 20. I mean, again, you're loaded here, right? I mean, you got 12 picks here too, which essentially means you only have 5 picks in those last 9 rounds, which, is an ideal spot to be in, right? And to double up on 15, 16, 17, 18. That's where you can get some really good flyers if you can. Or maybe at that point you're picking the top defensive team, right? Because nobody's in that range yet. And you have all these front loaded picks. So I think it does set you up for, you to have a successful year because I think the keepers you have are good enough, right? I don't think they're blow it out of the park keepers by any means, right? There's teams with better keepers, but even when I get into my preview, my keeper quality isn't very good, right, compared to the rest of the league. So, and there it is, looking at the last 9 rounds. I mean, you're done in round 22, so you don't even have to be around for the last 7 rounds of the draft, which, that could be an hour, like literally. So, you've done a good job of being able to just say, fuck it, I'm gonna shave off an hour or two and, finish your draft. So, you really have put yourself in a great position this year. And one thing I love about you, Chris, is you've just done what you've had to survive every year. And it seems like you've kind of just clued in, hey, I can get some keepers off these teams here for cheap in the off season. Exactly what you did. Looking at your likely first pick, I think you're in a position to pick best available. And that's because you have balanced out your keepers. Looking at the sleeper rankings, the 20th pick kind of lands around that Cam Scatabo, or you get into the rookie wide receivers like Luther Burden or Jaden Higgins, right? And then Khalil Shakur is also kind of in that range. So those are the 4 guys that, kind of fell in that 20th pick range. And I think, yeah, you just have to weigh up if you're going to go rookie or do you go more of a proven guy like Shakir. I don't know if you could call him proven, but at least a guy that has a role on their current team. So lots of options there. Pick 20. The only thing you're missing out on is doing the double dip strategy 2021, right? But obviously it's great to have a pick in the first round. And then the storylines for you, well, again, we've kind of touched on it, right? You have had tier one struggles since you've been here, your career record. I'll probably throw career records out there when I do the season preview, but you haven't had the greatest career record. But again, you've also had to rebuild this team to a contender. I think the first couple of years you've been here, it's been more of, oh my God, I got to just survive, right? And that's exactly what you've done. And it was close last year, right? And obviously close for me too. I could have been gone if I wasn't tier two champion. So any one of us can drop, right? That's the thing. I don't think anyone here is weak. Okay, so I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I finished last. Anyone can finish last, and it's not the first time I've almost finished last. I finished 19th. Even True North finished last one year, and only reason he didn't drop is because back then we had said if the team retired, you didn't have to drop. Otherwise, True North doesn't win those 2 titles, so that's what people don't recognize either. True North, who has had the one most has won the most championships in this format, did finish last one year as well. So some of the best owners do finish last. And my last storyline for you is staying alive, and that's what I really appreciated about your ownership so far in this league is you did what it had to do to survive and stay alive. My mistake last year, and I think it was Deuce that went online and said, "Hey, some people have to accept the responsibility of trading too early." I think after what I went through last year and maybe people witnessing it and maybe even for themselves, some people might wait until the deadline to make moves this year, which should be interesting to see. I do think that there's probably a quarter of the teams, maybe even 35% of the teams, a third of the teams that don't do a lot of movement, right? And that's fine. It's not like they're not setting the lineup. They're active. They're doing their waivers. Some teams are just smart. Like, why should I trade junk for junk? Or, you think your junk is great. But one thing I've always loved about you, Chris, is you've always been very easy to negotiate with. And I just want to say I really, again, appreciate your ownership here. And I think this is your chance now to really try to seize that American division. I think your competition this year in that division, we'll get into their previews as well. but likely Deuce and Ramrods, and Ramrods likely will not be in that division next year. Of course, you have your friend Shep, but I think Shep doesn't have the draft pick scenario to really get him out of trouble this year, right? I mean, yeah, sure, he's got good keepers, but that's only going to get you so far. And then Sky Blue Army already took the Grace here, right? So this is your chance, I think, to really be that division title contender. And it's nice to see because it's been a bit of a struggle since you've been here, but you've made the right moves this off season. And just want to say thanks for being loyal to the league, and thanks for just being professional in your ownership. And I can't wait to have you in this league and be successful in this league for years to come. Good luck, Chris.